Now, there are several developments coming up in Kebbi State, northwest Nigeria, regarding the recent abduction in the Federal Government College, Yori, including a viral video believed to have come from the bandits, as well as the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Teachers saying he did not say schools are closed down in Kebbi, but was misquoted. Well, let's cross live now to our correspondent on ground, Amaka Okoye, who's monitoring development there to give us latest on this and more. Amaka, great to see you. Let me begin by asking you, what do we know about this video?
Right, so this that video that you are talking about, we actually saw it later last night, sometime last night. It was released, and we believe it's from the bandits themselves. You can hear the introduction of the man who released it. He introduced himself as Kide, Dogo Kide, who's a known bandit who's been responsible for most of the attacks that we've seen in northwest Nigeria, particularly the Tegina one. He started off as kidnapping white people before it now grew into what we now know as bandit attacks in school. So I suppose that's why it was important for him to kind of introduce himself, to say, as I said, he was sending a message to the government to say, this is who has kidnapped your student. And as you saw in that video, your student and of course staff members, as you saw in that video, it's a group of them. Of course, that does not show the totality of all those who were kidnapped. Yesterday, during the update, again, we said that rescue mission was ongoing. And as a result of that, they were split in separate groups. So that is one of the groups, that they were split into. Of course, we don't know how many the groups, how many they are that they were put into. So that's what we do know. Fortunately, what we have is the short clip. However, the longer clip, he was heard saying, look, we're going to release these people if you release our own people that you have captured. As you do know, there was intense pressure and, of course, battle between the military, the Air Force, the police, and, of course, vigilantes group from here and local hunters, trying to repel these people who had surrounded the bandits already. So that's sort of a follow-up from all of that activity that is ongoing. That video emerged, surfaced online from. And of course, if we move away slightly from there, there's also the conversation that you mentioned when you read there of the NUT chairman saying that schools are not closed down, as we have seen reported in other media. So I do believe that we have that clip, because earlier today we had to go to him to say, clarify these issues for us, because we are hearing from different sections of the media that you had said that schools will be closed, 7 schools shut down, as a result of this. And then, of course, he said, no, that was a misrepresentation. I do believe we have it, so let's take a listen.
To be frank, there is a misinterpretation or misrepresentation of what transpired between myself and a reporter, I can see, or some reporters. I was asked whether schools are closed down. I said officially no school has been closed down. But on that fateful day, or on the sad day that incident happened at Federal Government College Beniawuri, some 7 schools on the axis where students were asked to go home. On that day, nobody asked them to go on holidays or schools have been shut down. But because of the fact that there is the likelihood of some students to go out of control, that was why they were only asked to go home. And it was never official that they were asked to go home officially. But for the fear of what may happen as a result of the sad incident that took place at Beniawuri, no more, no less. And since then, to this moment I'm talking to you, no single school has been shut down in Kebbi State. So that is...
Okay, Amaka, we just listened to Issa Omar, the chairman of the National Union of Teachers there, saying officially no schools have been shut down. I imagine Kebbi State has been hit hard, a state usually associated with inclusion and peace rather than this kind of activity. What has been the official response from the authorities so far?
All right, I must say, having covered all of these kidnap activities from December up until now, this is one scenario that we saw, authorities literally swinging into action and matching words with action. It will be the fourth day now, or the third day that this happened, and we've been seeing visits from, local vigilantes, hunters who are saying to Mr. Governor that, look, we are with you in this, and of course, he also mentioned that they will do everything humanly possible to make sure that they root out this criminal element. And just after that statement that was made on I believe it's on Saturday or Sunday, we saw that again these bandits have now been surrounded and there's pressure on them, and we've seen serious attack ongoing for the rescue of these girls. And that, as you do know now, has resulted to the release of 12 of those who were kidnapped. Earlier, the 5 were released before, reunited with the family, and then of course the 7, which we believe would have been reunited with their family. So we've seen a speedy response, response, as opposed to maybe in other incidents that we know that there's a bit of a delay before action kind of matched words that were given in terms of promises by authorities. So I would say yes, that there is really intense pressure, and indeed that rescue mission and activities is actually going on as far as this particular kidnap incident in Kebbi Federal Government College is concerned.
Well, I imagine this is just another deja vu for you, Amaka, following all these school kidnaps. But have you been able to speak to parents and loved ones of this recent kidnap in Kebbi State? And just to back up to what the Nigerian Union of Teachers Chairman Kebbi chapter said, that schools remain open. Is that the situation on ground? Are schools truly open?
Yeah, this was, you do know, most of the schools will begin writing their exam. He did mention that they are WAEC and I believe JAM. Well, they are going to begin some exams. So there is no how really that those who are not affected, the schools that are not affected will not be in session. Yes, we've seen that schools, it's still ongoing, really. It didn't affect them. The only school that we know that is shut is the Federal Government College in Yauri, which is, of course, where this incident happened. Remember that why they allowed them to stay is when they heard that these bandits were sighted, they had to speak to the Federal Ministry of Education to say, what do we do? And they said, look, we'll beef up the security because these people need to write their exam. So yes, interestingly, the schools are still open. As I'm talking to you, I can see some students back from school, passing. That's why it's such a coincidence. So yes, schools are still open at Esuwa. And then if we go back to your your first question, which is any conversation if we've established contacts with parents and loved ones. When we were in Yauri that day, we spoke to a couple of parents, and what touched me more, or what stood out for me, is the fact that these people have demonstrated a level of positive energy and hope and even strength and support, that I've not seen, in other places. Because how do you explain a parent, who's got like 5 children taken or 3 children taken, saying, look, we know that they are going to be back. We trust that the government is doing what they have to do. We are grateful. In fact, we did have security presence, but they were just overpowered. So there is that understanding that, I've seen from parents. It's not that they are happy that their children are gone, but they are hopeful that they will be back at Esuwa.
Yes, and we have the smiles because we know, and from what you're telling us, the people of Kebbi are not deterred despite this dastardly act by the bandits. But thank you so much, Amaka, for the update. Keep safe.